You cannot force healing. Okay, let me be clear on this. You cannot force healing to happen. You cannot force a breakthrough. It happens in its own timing. And that does not mean that you can't take actions for your growth and your expansion. Like, do the meditation, read the book, go to the workshop. You could do all these things, although life is going to work in a specific way that you cannot force it upon yourself. And you're gonna see it when you're like trying so hard to get through a breakthrough, to heal a certain thing, to like be illuminated, and you're gonna be like beating against the bush. Is that the expression? Beating against the wall or whatever, where like you're like, but I'm doing everything, I'm reading all the books. And even if your mental mind is gonna understand the lesson, or not the lesson, but the concept, it has to be fully embodied and integrated. And unfortunately or fortunately, that part you cannot control it. It happens in its own timing, and sometimes it happens in a way that would be the least expected. So it's gonna happen in one of the worst moments of your life, or like there's gonna be a setback. Something is not gonna go the way you're gonna want. You're gonna be like, why is this happening? And that's gonna be the very thing that's gonna allow you to meet parts of yourself and release these parts. That's gonna allow you to go through this breakthrough and meet that wholeness or that peace. And then you're gonna be like, oh, it was there all along, and it's gonna make sense. But when you look back, you could have not forced that to happen. Like, it really just has to happen in its own timing. And that's when I find, like, you know, in this whole industry of like personal growth and spirituality, there's a lot of gurus online that's like, I'll show you the way, I'll show you the steps to get to this, like the life you always wanted to create. And it's fine, like you could do these things, but like they say it in a way as they have like the answers to your solution. They have the answers to your questionings, and they have the solutions, but they don't. Nobody outside of you is gonna hold the answers for you. They could give you like tips and stuff, and it could be stuff that helps you along the journey, but all the answers are inside you, and you cannot force them to come out. You have to, like, the best advice I could give is you have to surrender. You have to surrender to the process. You have to learn to be good with where you are today, and like accept that there's a process and there's a way in the journey that's just the way it is. And the whole part of the journey is not to reach a certain destination. It's the journey. There's always going to be another level. There's always going to be something new you could expand. Like, there's no limit to the expansion. And that's actually beautiful, because there's never a point where you've reached the end. Because if you reach the end, you're probably just going to die. Like, what else is there? Like, you just, okay, I've reached it, now what? And then you learn to just enjoy the process, enjoy where you are now, accept and love where you are now, no matter how, even like accept the parts of you that don't feel fully healed. Like it's not like the goal is not to be fully healed. Like, sometimes just let go and let God. And like the way forward is through. Like, you have to go through the process. And I find it something important to integrate. And once again, I can't force you to integrate this. It's gonna happen in your own timing. But hopefully my words could allow you a different perspective and allow you to let go just a little bit more. Like that, you're gonna be more open to receiving the blessings. And this is also a message for everyone that's trying to change someone else, that's trying to, because you're going through all these changes and you're like, oh my God, I understand this, and I'm having a breakthrough. And sometimes as someone that cares a lot for other people's well-being, or as if you have that identity of the savior and you want to save the world or whatever, sometimes we get really attached. And I say we because I was in that space for a long time. We get attached about the other person's journey, and we want them to understand what we understood, and we get a bit obsessed with that, and we're like, oh, if only I could change their mind or make them see what I see. But you can't. You cannot. It has to happen in their own timing, and you have to trust that the universe is working for them as it's working for you. Like, God is taking care of this. You could let go and let let like God do its work on you. Let the universe, let the divine just make things like add up in the way it has to add up, okay? There's really a surrender to this life. And if you're searching for this peace and this enlightenment, like, it's gonna start with that surrender and that letting go, and that you're gonna, like, in that space where you're more welcoming of the lessons and of every experience that comes on your road, because like everything that happens is there to teach you something. And if you're saying, no, this is not how it's supposed to go, you're maybe passing next to the lesson and you're not seeing it, and then it's going to have to happen again and again. And that's when patterns come in. You're always meeting the same type of people, always in the same type of relationships, always going through the same issues, because you're not truly seeing the lesson until there's that breakthrough, until you're like, oh, okay. So that's my message for today. This wanted to come out, and it just blew out of my chest. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, and what's maybe one of your recent breakthroughs you had. It could be nice to go scroll through the messages, like the comments, and people could see like a breakthrough you had. And sometimes it just plants seeds. Like that's what you could do. People are going to constantly be planting seeds into your field, and you're going to constantly be planting seeds into their field, but it's not your responsibility if they water it. Like, you could plant seeds, but you have no control over if they water it, and over when that seed is going to grow. It could start sprouting years from now, but that you have no control over. The only control you have is the seeds you plant, the message you share, and being an example. Like, lead the way by being an example, not by forcing your thoughts onto people. Like, just walk your talk, and that's going to inspire people. And hopefully other people that walk their talk could inspire you on your path. And that's all I wish, and I think that that's the way forward. So thank you for listening.